Okay. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Angela. Oh, Rebecca. Nice to see you, Rebecca. Santana. We have a lot of returning faces. Hi, Michaela. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. All right, great. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday night. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can stay on time. But thank you so much for joining us, and I'll add everybody as they come in too. We have a really good group today. So hold on one sec. Here we go. So welcome to our core team meeting. This is our monthly core team meeting that I know a lot of you are returning, and pre-COVID we used to meet at our office in Point Loma once a month with all of our volunteers who are new and returning, and it was a great way to connect with everybody, get to know our core team who help us run our events. And so welcome if you're new to our community. We'd love to have you as a part of our volunteer team. So happy that you could make it on a Thursday night with us. So a couple of Zoom rules before we get started. I know probably everybody is so used to Zoom by now, but please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we'd love to see all your beautiful and friendly faces. And please type any questions or comments into the chat. We will have a couple opportunities for you if you feel so moved to say something or share something. We'd want to hear from you. So please feel free to type it into the chat. And then a quick update from Autism Tree, from what we have been doing since shelter in place happened in March. We have now reached over 469,000 people through all of our social media channels, which is incredible. This is through our Facebook, our Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, basically everything, Twitter. I have an amazing intern team that helps me manage them every day. And we have reached over 469,000 people. So thank you to everybody who has been sharing our posts as well. Our posts have been shared over 788 times. And then we've also reached our community through our YouTube channel, which we've added 288 videos on our YouTube channel, which is amazing. A lot of them are from volunteers who are on this call and other volunteers in our community who wanted to stay connected to our kids and families. So we have a couple of video series that we've been doing. We've also posted 236 of those videos since March, which is insane. So a couple of those series, like I mentioned, we have a Reading with Autism Tree series of our volunteers like you reading a children's book for our kids and families. And then we also have an Hpf at Home series where you share a fun activity for kids to do at home. And it could be anything. Right now, we need more videos. We do post these videos daily, and we would love to hear from you and your ideas. And so you can reach out to me directly to learn more information about that. We have posted now 88 videos from our Reading with Autism Tree series and reached over 42,000 people. And then in addition to those videos, we also do our virtual program events. 19 of our programs are now virtual, which is amazing. We've been able to pivot to have all of our events over Zoom. And we've provided 159 virtual events to date, which is incredible. Thanks to all of our community partners and volunteers like you who keep it possible. And then we have 32 events coming up between now and the end of November. So there's still a lot to get involved in, a lot of different ways, creative ways for you to get involved in. And I love for each of you to reach out to me. All right, so I'm gonna jump in and let's introduce our special guest today. We have a guest speaker. We have every core team meeting, we have somebody lead an inspiration. And it's just to leave everybody Feeling good, and starting the meeting off right, something, so we don't micromanage the speaker. She could present, she or he could present on whatever they like. It's just to keep our community feeling connected. So I'm really excited to introduce Lacey. She is a Francis Parker High School intern, and she's been interning with us for about a year now, which blows my mind. And Rio has been so amazing, and I'll do a little bit of a thank you to her a little later, but I'm gonna go ahead and introduce her, and she'll take it away.
All right, hi everyone. My name's Rio, like Rebecca said. I think I started interning with Autism Tree in June of 2019, and I've loved it since. I really like the dance classes and musical therapy, and I'm just really honored to work with you guys. And so for this core team meeting, I wanted to share some research and some thinking I've done about the value of listening. And I kind of thought of this topic in one of my Zoom calls for school, just thinking about how difficult it is sometimes to fully pay attention when you're staring at a screen, all the distractions that can take you away from a teacher or a colleague or just anything in this time. So like family members or pets in the room, assignments in the background, just thinking about how we can apply listening and help it improve what we do daily, especially because of coronavirus. And so I thought this was an appropriate topic to talk about, since we are in a Zoom call right now, and especially as we all try to develop deeper connections with either people we live with, people we see occasionally, or people we only see through the computer screen. So I will start with a quote. So this quote by Stephen R. Covey: "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply." This kind of touches on how people think of listening. They kind of assume that it's just staying quiet until you have a time to respond. They're not really taking in or engaging with what the other person is saying. And instead, they're thinking about what they can respond with, what they can say. And so this presentation is a way that I can encourage all of you to instead use listening as a tool to understand who you're talking to more and to really connect with them. But before I get into all that, I just want to share a funny story that segues into the topic. So in this story, two hunters go into the woods, and while they're hunting, one gets a seizure. And the other hunter calls 911. They're freaking out. He is so stressed, he's barely listening to what the 911 responder is saying. And the hunter at this point is almost positive that his friend is dead. So he tells the 911 responder this, to which they reply, "Well, can you make sure they're dead?" And with this, the friend says, "Hold on." And the friend leaves for a second, and the 911 responder hears a gunshot. And when the friend comes back, he says, "Okay, now what?" So this is a classic tale of misunderstanding. If you didn't really understand the story, the friend might not have been dead, and when the 911 responder says, "Well, can you make sure they're dead?" the hunter's friend goes and shoots the friend. And so this is just a funny tale where you really don't listen accurately, and it comes with drastic consequences. And it's really ironic. And while it doesn't necessarily represent what might have actually happened in that scenario, it touches on some key mistakes that people make in listening. So now I'm going to talk about listening as a tool for learning. So when we think about listening, we're kind of focusing on taking in information, and like I said before, responding to that information. But really, when we're listening, we want to be focusing on other things. So maybe body language, tone, what the person talking is trying to convey or share with you. So if we think about two fundamental questions, what do you think and how do you feel? Oftentimes, if someone responds to how do you feel with, "Oh, I'm just fine," and you're like, okay, they're fine, but you don't pick up on some subtle things in their body language, or just things that you can learn about how to more comfort them better and connect with them and have them trust you to know how they're feeling or what they're actually thinking in the moment. So this quote by Larry King: "I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening." And this kind of ties into how we can really learn from each other and listening to their perspectives. understanding their disadvantages, challenges, advantages, and more. Especially with the coronavirus, we can think about people who might not have equipment for Zoom meetings, or people who are feeling down because of mental health and quarantine, and just things like that, where we can really adjust to their needs and learn how to comfort them and connect with them better. And so in the next slide, we think about how that helps connect each other. So by listening to other people's struggles, or maybe actually their championships, we can think about how we're connecting with someone, how we're getting them to trust us more. So in this conversation, you're going to want to pay attention to their body language and tone, like I said before, even referencing something they said earlier to show that you're engaged. And especially, I think this one's the most important, avoiding interrupting or distractions. So with a Zoom call, you have so many things in the background. You're at home, maybe with your family. So with this, you really want to pay attention to what they're saying, how they're conveying what they want to say, and how to really connect with them, even if you can't be in person. And so this quote by Rick Warren, sometimes the greatest way to serve someone is just by listening. We get into how listening and active listening, paying attention to what they want you to hear, is a way that you can, that can benefit your relationship. So especially in a family, as a parent, if you active listen, this can help children clarify their thoughts and emotions, and it develops more trusting relationships. So as we're at home and only with your family, you can be thinking about this, talking about mental health, even the election in these stressful times, just little things like these, and practicing listening instead of a way to let them talk and to be quiet, but a way of really engaging with people you love and people you're close to. And so this develops empathy and understanding, as well as validating what the speaker thinks. And it's just, when you readjust the way you think about listening, it can really shift your perspective on how conversations work and how you can really connect with people you're close to more. And I think that's super inspiring, especially when I think about how I conduct conversations. You know, you're not thinking about, you really want to shift the narrative to just talking back and forth, but to let someone talk and to have yourself listen and respond based on that. And so to wrap it up, I have this cartoon. It's two people on a stranded island. I'm sorry, were you talking to me? This kind of, obviously, he's talking to him. So it's kind of funny because people aren't always engaged. They're not always listening. And if we do listen and actually take in what they're saying, their body language, everything like that, we can connect these two people on the stranded island and apply that to all of your relationships at home. So I hope this inspired you this week, and you can go practice active listening in everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rio. I loved it so much. It's so needed every day, especially because we have less and less contact with people on a regular basis. And listening, I mean, it's a tool that we can use virtually, which is amazing. So I'm thinking about, yes, every day connecting with our family, and it improves our relationships that way. But also as a volunteer for Autism Tree, like listening is a tool that you can use to connect with our families and our kids. And especially because our kids not all the time communicate via eye contact or, in the way that we might expect. So listening takes on a whole other meaning. And you have to really be in tune with that person and listening to what they're saying or what the sounds they're making or their body language to really connect with them in that way. So it's so relevant, and especially we'd love to do in-person events, but of course we're concerned about the safety of others. We put that first, of our kids and families and volunteers and all of you. So we do offer all of those virtual events, which I'll go over a little bit later, of what's coming up. But that is a big tool that you can use during our virtual events, listening to our program directors and how they run our programs, and learning from each other, the other volunteers, and then also interacting with our parents, and listening to their stories and the struggles they go to and how we can better support each other. So thank you so much, Rio. And I have a little bit thank you that I wanted to share. So this is a couple of questions or a couple of pictures that we threw together of Rio over the past year. We were so lucky to, see her in person. We have an office in Point Loma, and she was a huge help in the office and on site at our events when we were doing them pre-COVID. And then she stuck around and helped us after post-COVID, and was one of the first volunteers to reach out to me to say, how can I help during this time, which was so challenging. And I just so appreciate you, Rio, and everything you do for Autism Tree. And you're just have such a positive attitude. And also, special thank you for you have done over 150 hours actually during your internship with Autism Tree, which is incredible. So we are awarding you the Hpf Community Award. Thank you so much, Rio, for your dedication. And you're such a team player, and everybody I know, all of our families, all of our kids, and our other interns and volunteers love working with you, and you are a bright light that shines in our community. So thank you, Rio. And do you want to say any last minute words about volunteering with Autism Tree for this past year?
Sure. I just want to say thank you for the award. I'm really happy to have spent so much time volunteering with you guys. I know it actually makes me, I feel like it has a greater impact on me than it may have on the kids that I volunteer with, because they really make me smile every day, and it makes me feel like, if they can be doing all this over Zoom, I can be doing whatever I want to. So it just inspires me, I know personally, and I'm sure all the volunteers feel the same way.
Thanks, Rio. All right, well, now I'll get back started on some of our upcoming events, highlights from this past month, and also upcoming events that we have, so you can learn more about how to get involved. First, I just wanted to do a little special shout out since our last core team meeting last month was on the 17th, I think, of September. And so we had a big event between now and then, which was our Hpf 16 Candles virtual auction. It was a whole weekend where we auctioned off it was a silent auction through 32 auctions, all completely online. And thanks to everyone who helped spread the word or bid or donated during that time. And our goal was $10,000 originally, and we exceeded that goal in the first day by 4 p.m., which absolutely blew our minds. And so we set another goal of $20,000 for the rest of the weekend. And amazingly, we were able to reach that $20,000 goal and raise to $20,930. So thank you so much to all of my volunteers who helped me during that weekend, setting up our website, and then also reaching out to each of our donors and letting them know about this amazing opportunity to you give a little and you get a little back. So we had 118 donors who helped us raise this amount. So it was a very successful event, and we're so grateful to each of you who helped us with that. Next, this is a new program that I'm happy to tell you all about, an Hpf Kids Fitness program. Shout out and thank you to Annika Talou, who is a certified fitness trainer and nutrition specialist, and also a student at USD, who reached out to me personally and was just passionate about bringing something to our kids and families. And she said, I want to do a kids fitness workshop, which we are so open to that. We want to hear from you and what you're passionate about and how you can translate that into a service for our kids and families, and just providing another opportunity to connect. So thank you, Annika. She did our last workshop in October, and we're going to have another one. It was a big success. The kids loved it. They used like little at-home props such as water bottles and chairs to do like little squats, and very simple movement based exercises that just get the kids moving and expel a little bit of that energy from being at home all the time. So thanks to Annika, and if you want to volunteer, please let me know and reach out. And then next we have our Hpf Book Club, which was led by Danielle Levy. She's a volunteer, and she is an incredible and avid reader. And she designed this book club, which anybody can join. And the first book that we read was it was called Rain of Gold. And it was inspired by one of our lunch and learns with our board members, Pablo Fernandez. And I'll go over our lunch and learns a little bit later, but they're all recorded and they're on our YouTube channel if you guys want to check them out. But that was the first origination of Danielle's idea to do a book club with our community. So this is mainly for adults, for teens, for our volunteers, and for those book lovers out there who just want to find another way to connect on a monthly basis. So this month's book, our next meeting is going to be November 14th, but we have an amazing book called A Paragon, which is written by an Irish author, and it's written about the Middle East conflict and about two fathers, each of whom lost a daughter in the conflict, and one is Israeli and one is Palestinian, and they've come together. It's a true story. It's really intriguing. So if you would like to join our book club, you can let me know or sign up online on our website. Yeah, if you have any more questions about that, feel free to let me know. And another volunteer opportunity that we have going on is our Hpf USD virtual football player mentor meetup. We're so happy. We've been partnering with USD for 12 years now. And in pre-COVID, we would pair our kids one-on-one up with football players from the USD football team, and they act as mentors. We used to invite all the families out to their home games, and we would cheer them on during the game, and then we would go down onto the field and interact with them and get to know them. It was a lot of our amazing relationships are developed through this program, even after the player graduates. So we were so happy to be able to transition this to a virtual platform. Even though the players aren't playing any games, they still want to connect with our kids. And so we were able to do Zoom breakout rooms to make time for our kids and players to get to know each other. So a lot of these virtual events that if as a volunteer you want to get involved in, you'll take pictures and you'll interact with them and kind of facilitate conversation between the kids and their player mentors. So this is a really fun one if you want to get involved. Our next one, we have these every month on the second Saturday of every month at 1 p.m. Next, we have our Hpf virtual Lego therapy group. I know that we have our program director, Santana, on this call, and I know she doesn't like me calling her out, so I won't. But Santana does an amazing job doing our Lego therapy workshop. It was originally founded by our clinical psychologist, Dr. Jennifer Oak, and she loved Legos, and she works with kids with autism, and she decided to combine the two to create a therapeutic experience for them. So this Santana has taken over from that, and she does an amazing job. This is fun. We're still continuing this to be virtual. We had a Halloween themed Lego build. at our last workshop, and we also try to incorporate bingo and engage the kids in different ways. So this is a fun one if you have Legos at home, or if you just want to watch and interact with our kids, listen to our kids and the stories they tell while they build Legos. This is a fun one. Next, we have our virtual Girls in STEM workshop. This was originally founded by Nithya Krishnamurthy, who's a student at Cathedral Catholic High School, and now she goes to Yale. And she took it upon herself, like Annika did with our fitness workshop, and she, but this was a couple years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago actually, that she founded this program. She wanted to do something specifically for our girls. She was in a STEM club, and she wanted to they do coding, they do marshmallow catapult building, they do lots of anything STEM related that are easy to do at home. We've been able to transition this to virtual workshops. This has now moved program directors. It's a legacy. So we had Nithya and then Emily Zong, who's now going to UC Berkeley, which is amazing. And then we have another, more girls from Canyon Crest High School, I believe, that Michelle and Gianna, who are doing a wonderful job with our girls. So this is a girls only event, and it's usually for, ages, I'd say 11 and up for those girls. So if you'd like to participate in any of these, go ahead and let me know. Next, we have our Teen Time program. We partner with the Sensory Friendly San Diego for a couple different events, and they're an amazing community partner. They, in addition to these Creative Wednesdays, they do our teen social hours every Friday, but they started those first, the social hours first, and then they started the idea of our Creative Wednesdays, where it's just teens getting together to talk, to share artwork, share what they're passionate about, talk about their favorite movies or TV shows, just be together during that time. And it's every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. And it was no RSVP needed. They can just log in with that information. So if you're ever available on a Wednesday afternoon and want to put in some volunteer hours, this is a fun one to do. And like I mentioned, we also partner with the Teen Time Social Hour. This was something that they created, Sensory Friendly San Diego, their team created shortly after shelter in place took effect. And it has gone on since then, which is amazing. It's a huge hit with our teens. They get together every Friday at 3 o'clock, and they do, they practice different conversation topics. They play games like Jeopardy. They do easy DIY crafts at home. And we have at least like 10 to 15 teens attending every week. So it's a big hit. It's very fun, and it's definitely a favorite for some of our volunteers and interns. So if you're interested, let me know. We also have our Hpf Adaptive Art Class, which is so much fun. This was founded by our program assistant, Alexa Zano. She noticed that a lot of our kids really loved art, and she wanted to bring that to them. So our adaptive art class was founded during COVID and has been virtual, but it's been a huge success. And this is solely led by our Hpf volunteers like you. So if you're really good with arts and crafts, you can reach out to me to be a guest artist. We hold these classes once a month, and this is how it's sustained, is through our volunteers and our interns. So special thank you to Morgan. We had our intern Morgan lead our last workshop this last weekend, and it was Halloween themed. They got to wear their costumes and then paint pumpkins. So we like to do themed art activities, and they're really simple to do at home. So if you're crafty, reach out. We also have our Hpf Coding Camp. This was started by intern Ann Lynn and her sister Hannah. Ann Lynn goes to Princeton University, and Hannah is a senior in high school. I'm going to get her school wrong, but they're both incredible. And they started a coding program for our kids and families. As you can see, you could probably notice a trend of these volunteers and interns just being taking something that they're passionate about and reaching out to us, and we just make it happen. And so they created this coding program through code.org, and they do these about once a month for kids ages 12 and up. And they do coding and different computer science and problem solving through coding, which is really fun. So if you want to be involved, let me know. Our next one will be in November, TBD. And then we also partner with the National Charity League. This was our 10th year, I believe. Yes, our 10th year partnering with the National Charity League. So we were really looking forward to having our 10th annual spa day in person, but instead we were able to pivot and do it at home. And the NCL Mom and Daughters, they're a volunteer organization. They're incredible, and they mentor our girls one-on-one. For girls only events, we do these about once a month, and they did a spa day where they assembled different little face masks, and then they had a video of how to learn how to do hair activities, hair styling, and that was what they did this last weekend, and they had a blast. And our next event will be the Holiday Craft Party, which will be December 5th at 10:30 a.m. And it's a good way to socialize with our Autism Tree girls, and yeah, doing different crafty things. We also have our HPF virtual musical play group, which is great for new families to Autism Tree, or families who have a child with a fairly new diagnosis, to practice communication and social skills through music making. They sing songs. They have little shakers that they use as instruments. We used to have these once a month at our office, but now we have them once a month on Zoom. And these are run by music therapists, board certified music therapists from the Music Therapy Center of California, which is also a longtime community partner with Autism Tree. And they send their amazing music therapists to us to run these programs. So this is a really fun one, especially if you want to see our little kids get involved and you are a musical person. This is the perfect fit. We also have our special education advocacy workshop, which is a branch of our parent mentor program. This is something that we started during COVID, which was the idea of special education advocate Michelle McGowan. She's also the volunteer director of our parent mentor program, and she is a powerhouse mom. She has 3 boys, 2 with autism, and she still finds the time to run these advocacy workshops for our parents, where she does a presentation for about 20 minutes on it could be IEPs, different topics that are valuable for our parents to know, and related to education, which was definitely needed during this time with distance learning. And then they also transitioned to discussing each other's challenges and successes, what's working, what's not working with their kids, supporting each other, and thinking about different ways to educate and advocate for their kids at their specific school district. So it's a very informative workshop if you're interested in that. If you're interested in being a special education advocate or an attorney in the future, or just learning more about the challenges that come with having a special needs child in the educational realm, then this is a really informative, good workshop to volunteer for. Our next one will be in November, TBD, but if you reach out to me, I can let you know when our next one will be. Our HPF virtual reality program is something that we've partnered with the Interactive Media Institute. Ian Miller is the director there, and he runs our virtual reality program and a lot of our teen events. And Ian made a partnership with Dr. Laura Rivard and her students from the USD STEM Outreach Club, which has been an incredible workshop series. They are focusing on engineering, so building different bridges. They're building bridges and then a roller coaster I think they're working on for the next couple weekends. And this is an amazing partnership, very exciting for our teens to be a part of this. We were able, the USD STEM Outreach Club put together the supplies needed to do these workshops, and our interns and volunteers helped drop them off at our kids and parents' houses so they can participate. So it's really exciting, and if you want to learn more, let me know. Our next one will be this Saturday, November 1st, and then we'll have 2 more after that, I believe, as well. Next, we have our Lunch and Learn series, which is something that we started as soon as shelter in place hit. This was the idea from our Hpf director of the board, Todd Hoff, and he's also our co-founder. And he had a vision to do a Lunch and Learn series every Wednesday. So we have done 29 of these to date, which is incredible. And we do it every Wednesday at 12 p.m. And we feature different guest speakers every single week. And that could be guest speakers in our community, different parent mentors, board members, community partners, leaders. We have 2 international speakers, which is amazing. One was Francisco Pavia Jr., who's from Brazil. And we also recently had Nicole Dawes, who is a self-care expert, and she's in Canada. So we're getting a really large reach with our Lunch and Learn series. I definitely recommend it to anybody. We have all of our Lunch and Learns are recorded and posted on our YouTube channel, so you can watch them at your convenience. It's really fast. It's only 45 minutes. And we go over stay-at-home strategies for parents, any creative ideas on how to manage this time. And then some of them are really informative. Like, for example, we've had Walter Susskind. He's an autism advocate and star of Life Animated, which is a documentary. His brother Owen, and there was a documentary about his family, which his father wrote about his brother Owen, who has autism and is now 29 years old, but it was about their 20-year journey with autism. And he's also the founder of Sib Strong, which is a sibling support type of community, an organization to connect siblings of special needs individuals to support each other during that time. So that's an amazing story, guest speaker. Next week, we will have Dr. Elizabeth Torres, which is very special. She is the director and principal investigator at the New Jersey Autism Center of Excellence. She was the keynote speaker at our 2019 Neuroscience Conference, our 5th annual Neuroscience Conference, which we used to do every fall. It was an all-day conference that connects the different international speakers and national speakers on the topics of pediatrics and autism and neurodiversity. So Dr. Torres is an amazing treat for us to have her as a guest speaker next week. So I definitely recommend tuning in or looking at the recorded version if you can't make it next Wednesday. So reach out to me if you have any questions. We also have our virtual adaptive dance classes that have been going. We have an over 1-year partnership with Tap Fever Studios. We love the owner, Larissa Hall, who does these dance classes every Saturday for our kids and families on Zoom. We originally started last July, and of course they were in person, and now we're able to do them on Zoom. So we focus on 2 different age groups, ages 5 to 10 and ages 10 to 15, and they alternate Saturdays. So this Saturday happens to be ages 5 to 10, which is really fun dance class. I know Rio mentioned that she had volunteered for them before. It's really fun if you want to if you love dance, another way to get moving during this time. And it's usually only about 45 minutes to an hour, so it's really quick. A fun one to volunteer for. Next, we have our In Harmony workshop, which is also in partnership with the Music Therapy Center of California. Their music therapists teach our parents and different teachers, educators in how to learn speech, how to incorporate speech and music therapy techniques with their kids at school and at home, which has been very useful during this time for our parents. So if you are interested in learning more about that, it's a small $10 participant fee for our parents. For our volunteers, it's free, but you can let me know if you're interested. Our next one will be November 18th at 6 p.m. It's in the evening. Next, we have our story time with Danielle Levy again. So Danielle, you might recognize her from, she started our book club, and she also decided to do something with our kids, which is story time. So she reads different children's book during this time, gives parents a break, and have the opportunity to connect with our kiddos reading. And they do little book themed activities as well. So our next one will be November 21st at 11 a.m. And we also partner with Hearts and Hooves Therapy out in Ramona. And we used to do in-person workshops with, they have mini horses. She has a whole farm. Melissa Sargent is the founder, and she is so good with our kids and families. She has, like I mentioned, mini horses. She has a little piggy, and she actually did one of our lunch and learns. So if you want to learn more about her team of animals on her farm, you can watch that. But she hosts these virtual workshops for our kids and families to go over the different farm animals, basic body parts of animals. It's very educational, learning about mini horse safety, how to interact with them, and they also play games. This last workshop, they did a Mad Libs themed activity, and they did bingo, I think the first workshop. So they're having a lot of fun. This is a really good one for kids of all ages, kids who love animals, and a very fun volunteer opportunity as well. So our next one will be November 21st at 9:30 a.m. And this is a big, exciting event that I'm so happy to let everyone know about. If anybody doesn't know what Giving Tuesday is, Giving Tuesday, so we have Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and then Giving Tuesday, where you give back to the community. Giving Tuesday was started by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And for us at Autism Tree, it's a big launch to our year-end campaign where we try to raise the rest of our budget for that year to make it through to the next year. So Giving Tuesday, to kind of pump it up this year and also have another opportunity to see our kids and families, we are doing a drive-through and Winter Wonderland celebration. We're combining the two. We used to do a big holiday celebration called Winter Wonderland in December, the first couple weeks in December, where we had over 200 kids and families come out to our to the USD Han Center, and we would partner them up with volunteers like you or our USD football player athlete mentors, and they would do different holiday crafts. We had like 12 arts and crafts stations, and we had Santa Claus and gifts for the kids and dinner and everything. It was fun for the whole family. So instead this year we're going to do the drive-through, and we're really excited. So if you would like to volunteer, we will be practicing all social distancing precautions, of course. We might need help with setup and tear down to set up, some tables and some of the activities. We're going to make it as interactive as we possibly can. Special shout out to Jordan Marks, who is going to be our Grand Marshal for this event. He's the one who inspired this idea. There was a synagogue, I think 20 synagogues that came together and did a drive-through. It was a circus themed, and they did different activities. And so we are inspired by that, and we want it to be just as big, with all of our program directors involved. And it's going to be lots of fun, and it will happen at USD. We're very excited. We just confirmed it, in front of the Han Center, where we usually host our Winter Wonderland celebration. So this is a really exciting event. This will be our first in-person event, but of course it's going to be, everybody will stay in their cars, and we will have social distance masks and taking temperatures of all of our volunteers and our team. So if you want to be involved, let me know. That's going to happen Saturday, November 28th from 4 to 6. And yeah, Santa will be there. We're going to be handing out different activity baggies to the kids from the car, using gloves and all that jazz. So that's a really fun event that's coming up. And then to end it, our core team meeting, thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. But we like to let you know how much it costs monthly to run Autism Tree, to keep our doors open, especially during COVID. Transparency is really important to us. We have 2.5 staff. That includes myself, the operations manager, and then Lisa Kaufman, who's our director of development, and our part-time CFO, Caitlin, as well. And then we have rent, of course. We're still paying rent on the office, which is in Point Loma. It's basically a storage unit because we haven't been there since March. We also have insurance, and then of course our 20 free programs and services, sustaining those. And our preschool screenings have stopped during COVID, but that usually takes a large chunk out of our budget for the year. But during COVID, it costs on average $15,000 to $20,000 per month to run Autism Tree, since shelter in place. So we're a very grassroots, small organization. So this might seem smaller for bigger nonprofits, but it's still a big challenge. So like I mentioned with the 16 Candles virtual auction, we raised over $20,000. That's about 1 month, which is incredible and amazing. But we still need the help to fundraise and push to reach our budget for the end of the year. So that leads us to our progress to date. We've raised about over $200,000, $204,000, and our screening stopped back in March, but we have screened over 20,602 kids to date since then, pre-COVID. And so about 36% of our operating budget is what we've reached. So during this time, we would love your help to spread the word. And if you are interested in helping us fundraise or just interact with our kids and families at our events, please let me know. I love hearing from each of you. I have a very large intern team right now, which is like 20 different interns, and they are so helpful to me during this time. And I really can't do it. We can't do it without you. Our volunteers are our lifeblood. That's how we keep doing everything that we're doing. And just thank you to everyone who has come tonight. And I want to kind of open it up. If anybody has any questions or comments during this time, does anybody have anything they want to add? No? All right, well, I wanted to give a shout out to Hunter, because I see Hunter. Hi, Hunter. It's so great to see your face. How are you guys doing at PLNU?
We're doing okay. I just moved back down to San Diego a couple months ago. I think I've been here for about a month and a half. School is completely online, which is something that I've had to cope with. Rio, I think, said it perfect in her intro presentation, that listening and learning online is something that, you know, you have to kind of get used to, and there's different distractions that come into play. So that's been tough, but our soccer team and our athletics program has finally gotten up and running again, and we're doing weekly COVID screenings And I'm actually super excited. I joined the student athlete leadership team, which actually works with a lot of the charity events and stuff like that. And I had a chance to mention to them about APPF, and they were super interested. I really enjoy listening and hearing about, you know, the USD mentorship program, and I think it's something that we could probably replicate at PLNU, the men's soccer team, which I'm super excited about. Hopefully you are too, possibly.
Yes.
Also, I think it'd be really fun, you know, reading with ATPF. I think the guys on my team would love to get together, maybe, you know, do a video reading and have it be able to be posted to the channel. But yeah, I'm super excited to be back and just to do everything I can to, you know, spread the word of ATPF. It's something I do care deeply about, and I'm just excited.
Oh, Hunter, you just made my day. That's incredible. Congrats on being awarded to that committee at PLNU. Gosh, you are such an amazing program director. I know Chris chose the right person for it. And for everybody who doesn't know, Chris was the founder of our PLNU men's soccer team player mentor program with our kids and families, and then Hunter, he passed it on to Hunter, and I am definitely on board. Let's make it happen and do a virtual meetup for our kids. And
awesome.
And we would love for you to see, we would love to see, we could do a couple promotional videos of, you know, your soccer players each introducing themselves and doing either a little 1 or 5-minute activity that you can film, and we can put it on our YouTube. I can send you, you could definitely check out our YouTube and see the different ideas people have come up with. There's a lot of opportunities for us to do different holiday themed activities during this time, since we have the holidays. So it's lots of fun. That's amazing. You just made my day. Thank you, Hunter.
I'm glad. I'll follow up with an email right after this video chat so I don't keep everyone else too long.
Perfect. Well, special thank you to Rio, and thank you to everyone else. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up then if nobody else wants to say anything, but I want to hear from you all and connect with you all individually. So you can contact me at my cell phone number. I can put it in the chat, or you can email me, which I know is everywhere on the Facebook website and YouTube and our website. So go ahead and reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us on a Thursday night. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the week and the weekend. And oh, I have to take a group picture. So I will take a screenshot. If any of those of you who have your cameras off, if you want to turn your camera on, I would love to see you. If not, that's cool too. Big 1, 2, 3, big smiles. Beautiful. Okay, it was so great to see all of you. Hope you have a great rest of your week.